Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna have this video clipped onto another segment of video that I've done. The editing's terrible, but it's clear enough for you to see what it is. But before I get into that, I wanted to give some advice on how to deal with scripted behavior. And I'm gonna give you some pointers on just some of the situations that I've dealt with myself. Okay, so this situation when it comes to these perpetrators, it heavily dealt with the honeypotting that they were trying to do. So where this was basically going towards, you got to understand both. It doesn't matter whether it's female or a dude. Both of them are just doing this for money. Okay, they don't even have to be that way just because they're making money. Again, it's just scripted. It's all bullshit to set me up. That's just what it is. Okay, so the first tactic they use was with the females. They tried to get several females to ask me if I need a ride, right? Um, when I mentioned this to some of the fellows around the area, they saying, "Oh, she's trying to basically get you laid or whatever," right? I'm not buying into this because first off, they might be in on it, right? And I already know, like, as soon as I accept the ride, she's just gonna go right ahead, say whatever, saying, "Oh, he did this, and this," and then, you know, how think about how people will respond to that, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, well, she's claiming that you did this, and this," and they have tried this. Indeed, they've tried this on at least two different occasions. They tried this. The last time they tried this, it didn't work, and it actually backfired on them. And they haven't tried a tactic like that since because of that. So then, the basically they had that happening for a while, and then they had some females basically trying to follow me around the area. This was heavily dealing with my work area. Now, again, I have boundaries for myself and I have rules that I live by. I do not date where I earn my money from. That's out of the question. Okay? I don't care who or what anybody has an opinion of. That's a bad chemistry choice when it comes to relationships. First off, are you going to be able to can you actually guarantee that you can maintain a calm sound mind and be able to control your emotions if you ever catch someone who's new working in there that has no idea that your partner is working at the same job that you work at, and you catch that person technically fraternizing with your partner, and your partner is not serious about it, but they find it amusing. This relates to both the ladies and this relates to both of the fellas. Can you really guarantee yourself that you would not overreact to a situation like that? Because I know I don't. The only thing I'm thinking in my mind are if they cheat, then we're done. If they don't, then hey, she's a keeper. And I'm pretty sure the females think the same way. Now then, and of course some of the fellas as well who would also be looking for. So of course most everybody's thinking that way, but also everybody's not the same. Some people will like flip out at a misunderstanding. Okay, and this is how bad times have gotten. You can't even help, dude. You can't even help anybody out nowadays because people are trying to get money every freaking time you look at it. It's not everybody, but it's so common that people are afraid to help strangers anymore. People are afraid to help individuals anymore. You don't want to like make it. You don't want it to really, take away any humanity from you. But it's just so damn difficult to be, a kind and caring person. I'm not saying a nice guy. I'm just saying, kind and caring. That's it. That is it. Nothing more. There's nothing wrong with being kind and caring. Now, the whole quote unquote nice guy, that's a dude basically willing to do anything just to get laid or just to get attention from a female, okay? And or possibly if they are into that, the same sex. Now, the whole honey since I'm a MGTOW, the whole honeypotting trick of them trying to use women against me like that, it wasn't working. So they twisted up to where they started using dudes. If you've seen Nappy Headed Roots' videos, it's a prime example. They send these people who are either homosexuals or not homosexuals. They do some really bizarre, idiotic stuff. They show off. I mean, dude, they show off their ass. If you've seen my evidence videos that I recently uploaded, you'll see a prime example of this. People just walking directly in front of your view space. You're not looking for them. No, they're walking right in front of my view space, and they're doing this. As soon as I walk into the store, they do it then. As soon as I turn the corner from an aisle, bam, again. It's constant. It's always constant. The same damn script. People do stupid shit like this, and I'm gonna tell you what this is. This is 100% reverse psychology. That's what it is. You see, they perpetuate these actions in front of you so much to piss you off. Now, before I actually go in further into this, first off, know your mindset and who you are, and not have it based off what someone is trying to make you as. You know for a fact you're not something that they saying that you are. You don't have to impress them. You don't even have to even waste your effort and time to prove anything to these people. Because first off, these idiots don't even know you. They don't know you at all. So in the end, if you feel like you know, all insecure about it, like let's say you're getting stressed out, you're getting mad or whatever, right? They're gonna say, "Oh, well, clearly it bothers you, so clearly you must be." They come up with stupid stuff like this, and then it make matters worse. They try to twist the conversation into that subject. But first off, you didn't bring up that; they did. But they want to try to call. They basically want to try to make accusation against you. Yet they're the ones who brought that subject up. Bullshit. No, no, don't. This is why you don't ever fall for this. I don't conversate with people who do this kind of shit because in the end, I know for a fact they're perpetrators. Their actions prove it. I mean, come on, man. It is. Nobody can tell me that it's not a coincidence that I caught this shit happening on multiple times, especially in the freaking Greyhound, dude. A guy walking in my view space, no doubt, just so happens to try to duck down, trying to just slightly bend his. He's not ducking it or anything. There's nothing there, and he's not picking anything up. I've had instances where where these dudes intentionally drop shit down on the floor just to bend their ass over. Now I'm gonna explain this as clear as day, so people will understand this. First off, someone taking money to show their ass off to another guy, first off, that's advertisement, and that technically makes them that way. Because why? I don't give a fuck. Even if you're just doing it for shits and gigs, why in the hell would you try to deliberately show your ass to another guy? And it's not, it's not one of those situations to where you just it's just coincidental. No, this shit is intentional. This whole thing is intentional, right? So it's seriously, they think I'm gonna get it in my head, not realizing that. Are you just that? Are you that dense? I see it for what it is. So I mean, why the hell should I be mad because people want to do stupid shit like that? You know? And if several women basically, it doesn't matter whether they're being paid off. If several women's trying to basically get with me, hell, that's making me. I mean, I'm not gonna accept it if it's from a job, but I mean, that's making me. That's actually raising my self-esteem because it shows, that gives me that confidence that shows that I am an attractive individual because they're doing it. I mean, sure, they're doing it for money, but you got to learn how to use some of the deception and as a confidence booster. Look at how much bullshit they tried to run you through, but you didn't fall for a single bit of it. Use that as a confidence booster because you are indefinitely strong. But as an example of scripted behavior, or should I say, like the reverse psychology, they will perpetrate something and then they'll try to use it, try to manipulate it, say it's just a coincidence, and then they're saying, well, why are you talking about it, right? Why you mention it? It's bullshit because they acted it out. It's bullshit because they use scripted language to still bring this stuff into the mix. If they are, the way I look at it is just like this, and I have to make this video because I know there are a lot of people out there who have to deal with this shit. It's annoying as hell. I know. Trust me, and it makes no sense. They try to go out of their way to try to paint a picture of you that says this, you are this, but you know full well you're not. And they start tripping over their own feet just trying to do this. And I'm just like, each time they make these attempts, I just shake my head like this is one fucked up society that we're in. It is. You can't even, it's like it's threatening to them for you to just be yourself. It's threatening to them for you not to want to contribute to this bullshit lie of theirs within society. It's a threat to them just because you want to just live in peace. How pathetic is that, man? You just want to live, you just want to keep to yourself. You want to live in peace, no bullshit. You're not even out looking for that crap, yet they miraculously every time you enter a fucking store, it's the same stuff every time. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Come on, man. I go in a store, I didn't come here for this shit, dude. Nobody did. And I mean, if someone is looking for that, fine, but don't, like, you shouldn't, basically, people shouldn't just make assumptions that someone's a certain way. If a person says no, that damn well means no. There is no, but this, it is no, well, look at the way this is. No. No. If a person says no, that's it. End of story. And also, I want to point out the insecurity that they got because they never, in my experience, they never ever even try to ask the individual who they make the accusations towards. They never ask these questions. They just make the assumptions and they go based off what a complete stranger who I do not know says. Trying to say, you see this guy? He's this. He's this. I don't even know that motherfucker. I don't even know that dude. And all of a sudden he's got a whole damn pamphlet on me. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, these people are fucking, like, that is the definition of a fucking stalker. And it's like, how the hell does a person not recognize that? How? Seriously, how do people not recognize this? And I think this microphone is in. So let me go ahead and switch over. Okay, there we go. I can't seem to figure out, like, how they don't understand that. And people, they have done this shit publicly. There has been public. These people will go out in the middle of towards these shop clerks and shit. Right. This happened in Baton Rouge. This has happened right when I went to go buy my aloe vera plants for the first time. Right. Because there just so happened to be just one local plant shop in town that was nearby. I went there. This was not an agent. They paid this effort off and to go in there, show this footage to this guy who worked there, trying to say, you see this? And they purposely did it to where I could hear it. But the guy never even asked the question. They will never fucking ask that question. They will never ask you directly. No, because it's all gaslighting. Reverse psychology, gaslighting. They're not meant to try to make sense of anything. They're just meant to torment the hell out of you. They're just meant to make bullshit accusations against you. They're meant to only inevitably completely cause suffering to the victim every time. And when I look at it from a logical perspective from that, I'm like, what the hell's going through these people's heads? Like, really, these have to be some really dense people that we're dealing with that could just go with that shit, man. You don't even know. You don't even know the dude who's telling you that shit. You don't even know him. How do you not know that that's not a damn stalker? Just trying to basically have an excuse to get over the shit that they're doing. There was a woman in a Walmart that confronted one of her stalkers, and the dude fucking ran after she confronted him. I've lost track of how much footage I have seen these stunts happen when people will confront their stalkers and they take off and run the hell out of the area. People. And I don't mean fellow fellow target individuals, I don't mean whistleblowers, the people who actually know what the hell's going on. I'm just talking about people in general. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. What the hell, dude? Why don't people question anything? And I'm going to tell you something, man. They're not joking when they say people who actually don't support this bullshit, you don't hear nothing. I've seen this shit happen. I've seen it happen without a doubt. I've seen it happen. I truly did. There was at least 3 different people who tried helping me out, and they all 3 were gone. One of them ended up going on a vacational leave, so they say. The other one who used to handle the checks and stuff, gone. The lady who used to be at the front desk, gone. Just gone. I haven't even heard anything from these people. Shutting down certain branches of the area. After that, whoever was in the small office area, gone. Just like that. Just like that. Just gone. If it came to a female who was interested in me, gone. And that ain't even just with me. That's just, that's just with TIs in general. If it ever came to a pet, and I'm sorry to say this if some of you don't know, same thing. The same exact thing. And that has happened a lot. Some people don't even want to speak out about this, but it has happened. I'm not going to deny what I have seen, dude. I've caught footage of a lot of stuff that has happened. And I'm like, this shit is not normal. It isn't normal. It's not normal that you just, that this just so happens to happen, and as well as with the other stuff that's going on. People are so scared that they don't want to go too far into this, that they don't want to, conversate about it. And it's because of the fear. You let fear consume you, I don't see how you're going to be able to make it your way. I know it's okay to be frightened. It's okay to be scared. That's normal. But you need to be brave. It's okay to feel fear, but you cannot let that fear consume you. You gotta be strong, man. They're gonna use these methods, and I've been there. I've been in public where people would just randomly show the fuck up, give out all of these threatening gaslighting tactics that they will use. All this fear mongering crap, and I understand what it is. The way I'm at this point, you gaslighting me and you talking shit like that. I'm waiting for you to make the one simple mistake, and it is not until you lay a single hand on me that I will beat the hell out of you. That's the only moment that I wait for, because at least in that point, it's in self-defense, and with the surveillance equipment I got. I'm all well for it. However, I know that's technically it may be self-defense, but if it is talking trash, that's not going to get me to react. That's not going to get me to do anything. I'll just take that off as evidence. So every time that same thing just so happens to happen, it's just more evidence. And guess what? That's when I have the sign for the idiots who they hired to start doing this shit, just so they can go to the channel and see how stupid they look. You see how that works? They don't even know they're on YouTube doing this shit. And I point out exactly what it is. You want to know what you're doing? You want to know what you're working for? You are working for a corrupt organization that is well far into human trafficking and illegal experimentation on people, on unwilling people who have not signed a damn thing. And if they did, they were tricked into it without actual prior knowledge to it. I tell you though, this whole thing, man, damn. This whole thing stinks in more ways than one. But the thing about the scripted behavior is that you need to have this kind of mindset when dealing with this. First off, the police are 100% compliant with this bullshit. It doesn't matter how stupid the conversation is. They do that, and they do that intentionally. They'll do stupid stuff intentionally to try to get under your skin, to get you to observe a whole lot of energy, to get you to be stressed out, to get you to be mad, upset, saddened, horrified, scared. They feed off of negative energy. The only thing that can repel them is positive energy. Why do you think they don't want you to be happy? Why do you think they don't want you to ever be happy at all? What type of human being is like that? What type of human being gets off from seeing people suffer like that? That just wants nothing but negativity. A person like that can't possibly be human, dude. I just don't see it. That's when the whole concept of reptilian comes in. The way, when it comes to reptilian types of individuals, if that is real, I'd say they do somewhat look like us, but it's just no. Just no, man. It's just a complete no. There is something different that we're just not seeing. And that's probably the reason why we no longer see it, because probably people were programmed not to see it, or they got ways to hide it. Considering what they can do with technology, dude, I don't even trust that damn thing I'm seeing on television anymore. In fact, I would rarely even watch TV at all. I mean, I'll glimpse at it from time to time, but that's about it. But dude, this stuff has gotten so backwards. They're saying, oh, kids who go into the school, like, they don't run, they're okay. They're not gonna, they're not mentioning that as a risk of the virus. No, 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 no. It's when you go on vacation that you risk basically, that you risk actually getting a hold of the virus, that you'll actually catch it and stuff. It's when you go on vacation to try to have fun. Yeah, it's such a huge problem just to have fun. You can't go out and have fun, is what the narrative that they're trying to push. And I'm just like, these people are fucking crooks. Seriously. Like, unbelievable. Yeah, dude. But people understand, they utilized, for me, when it comes to the honeypot tactics that they use, they've done some of the most outrageous, obvious shit that it's just at the point that was like, dude, you cannot be serious. Woman walks up, and the first day on the job, on my last job, this woman intentionally walks in front of me, right? She is looking behind her as she's doing this, and understand what the point of view or where the training area was, because everybody was basically working on the machines, right? So I'm getting ready to everybody's waiting for their turn, but they're also keeping an eye out on what's going on, just as a pointers, right? Just so we know what to do, and so we don't screw up, because that was, getting passing that was our pass to get the job, basically. So we're keeping an eye out, and she is like towards my far left. So she ends up, in order for her to get in front of me, she has to basically, pass my line of eyesight. So as soon as she does that, she starts aligning herself up in front of me. This is some weird shit, okay? This is really weird. And she starts backing up, and I'm like, first I didn't think too much of it. Maybe she's just trying to get a decent view of the training area. I don't know. But then she kept doing it again and again and again, until she was starting to get a little bit too close to where I'm like, okay, you know what? I think she's going to end up, if I stand right here, she's obviously going to back into me, right? So I move over to the side, because what the fuck was I supposed to do? Let her bump into me? Because maybe she didn't notice, Maybe she didn't know. I don't know. Maybe she didn't, but I'm not going to deny the fact that she did look back as to where I was standing and try that crap. I didn't think much of that. So, after that little awkward situation, I ended up telling a buddy of mine about that, and he's told his wife about that, and they both going like, oh no, you're a creeper. And I'm like, are you serious? So, let me get this straight, and this is where people got their mindsets just screwed up, and why you can never have a decent conversation with a person who's blue pill, or anybody like that. Really, you're not going to have a decent conversation. Why? Because whatever the woman says, they're going to agree with it. They're always going to go with whatever she says, because first off, if they go against it, well, they're probably not going to, especially if if the relationship is one-sided like that, they're probably not going to get laid for a while if they don't side with her. So that I kind of understand, but that's kind of like pathetic in my opinion. But anyway, he sided with her. I'm like, dude, You can't be serious. What the hell? I mean, what the hell was I supposed to do? Just stand there and let her bump into me? Now that would have made me a creeper if I would have just stood there knowing what she was doing and then just let her do it. That would have probably made me a creeper, but no. So other strange things starts to happen, right? Then it was this other, this one particular situation where this female actually had started working at that job as well. I have to mention the job because that's where most of these incidences happen. They also happen around my apartment too. For instance, once again, scripted language. There were two females that walked by, right? That was walking down the street as I was coming from the corner store, heading home. Not fucking with nobody, just heading home, right? They're walking by and they're going like, "Hey girl, what about him? You like him or whatever, right?" And she's like, "Oh no, he like ugly and shit like that." I'm like, "Get like seriously? Like get the hell out, like go to hell or get the hell out of here," right? So that's what I said. Enough for them to hear me. Fellas, be careful because this shit was a setup. As soon as I said that, the both of them turned around and started following me. Now, they did this to where it was obviously harassment, but look at the way society is. People take the female side, you know? So I started to learn a way to how to deal with stupid shit like this in a preferable manner that is not aggressive, but at the same time it has significant capabilities of pissing them off. And I just tell them the truth, you know. I just tell them the cold, hard truth as bluntly as possible, and they cannot stand it at all. None of them can. And I'm gonna give you a prime example of this. They send another female towards me. This one ended up becoming full-blown stalker, right? Now, leaving from my job, I would have to go to the bus stop in front of the mall, right? She's telling me that she saw me around the mall area. I don't really commonly go there very often. Most of the time, I was always over there, was just heading home, which is from mostly from the area. But then I started to change the route around, right, to where I didn't have to go up there because I actually started going towards the other direction, right? Because there's a bus stop on the street that I actually would come up to even before I go anywhere near the mall that takes me straight home. So that's what I started using. So I can't recall what time that could have been, but this stuff, if one thing maybe she caught a glimpse of me there, that's one thing, but with everything that happened, that's when it started to become, very awkward. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I need to get myself involved in this, especially since, well, I don't want to associate a relationship with work. I just don't want to do that. And I'm like, I mean, what is that a crime? Like, am I not allowed to not want to associate a relationship with my work? Seriously? Like, like, like just because I don't want to do that, my sexuality has to be brought into question? Like, are you serious? So if a woman basically, and this is where some idiot's logic comes from. I don't know where people get this stupid logic from. Just because a female flirts with a guy, he's supposed to be obligated to just go with it? Seriously? Oh no, no, you fuckers ain't fooling me. Well, not for one bit. And I'm gonna tell you, they twist mentality around with this guilt trip crap that they use, this reverse psychology crap, saying if you don't go with it, technically, you must not be into women. No, I'm into women. I'm just not interested in falling for bullshit. It's just that simple. There ain't nothing wrong with it. I just don't want to get scammed. I just don't want to get lied to, and I just don't want to fall into an obvious trap. That's just simple. But they don't want other people waking up to the shit that's going on too, so they can also avoid this crap that's going on. No. And if you're at the point to where you already know all of this crap is going on, dude, they're gonna try their hardest to make an example out of you. I'm telling you this from experience because I've had to deal with stupid stuff like this. So, basically, what happens? And basically, we get a new work in. It's a female. She thinks fine, but the supervisor tells me, just go ahead and show her the ropes, show her around. So I do that, right? I do that. And dude, she starts getting way too familiar. Like, the conversation was fine, but then it's going on for too long, and like I'm starting to, lose some time on my work, and I'm like, what, I got to get back to work. The supervisor's right there watching both of us. I didn't, I didn't sign up for 21 questions right now. No, I didn't sign up for that. So, I definitely broke the conversation up because it started to get way too personal. She started to ask me like, "Well, where you live at? What about your family and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "You know what? No, no, I'm cutting this conversation off right now." Saying, "Hey, you may want to get to work. The supervisor's like watching you, so just so you don't get in trouble, right?" I used the method to, just basically disperse it off, and there was no excuse because that's true. When you basically came here, you came there to work. No ends or buts about it. So, what she does is basically this. A lot of fellas will know what I'm talking about when you see this, because you'll have some women who, and they're attractive, but they will like do some of the most obvious shit just to show off. And she would be flaunting herself throughout the workplace, right? And unfortunately, some of the other guys were like way older, so like I don't know if as far as how often they get laid, I don't know. Some of them are married too, but like it really was fucking with work morale, dude. It really was. And for me, if I wanted to get laid, I'm gonna go out and get laid. That's just a given. But considering the circumstances now, I wouldn't want to put anybody in a situation where they have to deal with this. And considering the history in the of what they of these tactics they've tried, I would rather to be safe than sorry, because dude, they even got an Uber lady to try to fraternize with me. Had the whole sob story and everything, saying, "Oh yeah, her husband died and all this stuff," and like she was being way too forward, way too forward. Had the whole erotica accent going on, and I'm like, you know what? I'm reading this crap like a book, and it when you're being gang stalked and you're going through this targeting program, you can't just take situations like that, so casually. You can't. And it's a pain in the ass because you will find out that you would have to reject a lot of people. A lot. I'm not joking. You will find yourself to reject a lot of females in this situation because of trying to avoid the risk of being set the fuck up. And I knew it was a setup because before, I lost that job, I told you all about that situation. Of course, this was on the other channel, but I told you all about the situation to where they had this woman intentionally record me on private property in front of a security camera. And as soon as I started to, I shouted at her. I didn't curse or say anything, mean. I just said, "Hey, you see this camera up here?" Because I pointed at it, and I went straight to the office to talk to the supervisor right after that. You know. So miraculously, she's trying to go up. Now I'm gonna continue back to the other store with the other lady, but this is important. So it's basically she starts coming up with this lie saying, "Oh, he approached me all aggressively and stuff." I didn't approach that woman. No. And the cameras actually proved my innocence on that one. Oh yeah. Yep, I went straight to the office because I knew exactly what to do. I knew what that was going to be. And guess what? They basically psyoped the crap out of that too. After that happened, they had two people from the psych ward come up. Wouldn't be the first time I mean, hell, they even had a vehicle from that place coming out of nowhere, just parked in the parking lot, dude. I mean, come on. Nobody does that shit. Nobody pulls up in one of those insane silent vehicles, just having it casually parked in the parking lot early in the morning in the middle of the city. Nobody does that. You rarely see those cars. You will rarely see cars that say mental institution on the side. You will rarely see that. Rarely. It's not every day anybody would see something like that. So They had the two guys dressed in uniform, and they were from the exact same place. The exact same place. They the color of their uniform was black pants, black shoes, and a baby blue shirt. Those were the colors they were wearing. No joke. And they were waiting by the front door, no less. So I knew this was bullshit, and I knew it was a setup, right? Once again, I'm going to get back to the other conversation about that lady that turned into a stalker. But hold on a minute. So you got to understand, I'm being hit with these frequencies too as I'm talking to the general manager and, basically the manager of, of the other manager of, I can't recall what that was about. But, these two guys are in high positions. Now, they are desperately trying to get me the fuck out of there, dude. They are desperately. And they tried twisting the conversation to get me upset, as well as hitting me with frequencies to try to make me mad. It's not working, brother. It's not working, motherfucker. It's not working. And I could just see the tension that was coming from these guys because I flipped the situation where they didn't want it. And I'm like, well, if she's making accusations against me, I mean, technically you would have to show me the video footage, right? Right. And I do have time frames from other incidents that happened, right? And I'm telling you, they never wanted me to see that footage. They never wanted me to see any of the footage of the stuff I basically jotted the time down for. And whenever it came to that, they always wanted to check the tapes before I even had my say so. They had the situation to where they would try to overtalk me. They would have the situation to where they would just not even try to let me explain anything. And when I was at the topic to where I want to explain something very important, they will try, and this is another tactic of manipulation they will use. They will try to stretch out a bullshit statement as long as they can to get you to forget that topic that basically was a key point in proving your point. All right? Or should I say a key element of proving your point? That sounds a whole lot better. So anyway, that woman that basically was there, she it's getting a little bit too weird with stuff. First things that happened was that she kept trying to dawdle with the conversation, and I wasn't having it. It wasn't working, so she changed her tactics around. It got to a point to where she started mentioning, saying, well, like, I see you, by the stop or whatever. She would also use the same situation to ask me, do you like need a ride or whatever? I'm like, no, right? Now, before I go further with this, people understand this woman already has a dude. She already has a man and who she's living with. And she has a kid too. I don't know if that is his kid. I don't know. But she's got it. She has a kid and she's living under another man's house. Who she's seeing. It ain't no friend. All right. That show as hell ain't no friend. And I know for a fact it wasn't, because the shit was a setup. It was. So what happened is that she would start to park herself alongside of where the entrance was, and for some reason, because of where I was working at with me working with these crates, I would have to stack them up, but she would park herself to where she's able to like look through the cracks of these damn things. So I had to turn the crates around to where she was no longer able to do that. Now things get even more weird. It gets to a point to several occurrences to where she is desperately trying to get my attention. And I'm not joking. This is getting, dangerous, dude. I parked my my machine, my electronic jack on the trailer. She drives her jack in there forward, stops it, gets off of it, and just tries to get me stuck in the damn trailer, not refusing to even move her shit. So I gotta get off of my jack just to move her jack out of the trailer, which she's not supposed to even pull into a trailer like that, first off, because the forks, if you would have seen the way she did it, the forks are actually going outside into the warehouse, And that's dangerous because somebody could be walking by and you never know what the end result of that would be. You know, you got to be careful. Not to mention, some jacks have gotten stuck that way too. So I ended up having to pull her jack out of there. That was incident number one, what she did. Incident number two, she dude, she nearly ran over my damn foot with that machine. Okay, and she's giving me like the yandere type of talk, saying, "Hey, if something, no, Maurice, if something bad was to happen to you, right? If something bad was to happen to you, I would feel super bad about it." And I'm like, this woman is creeping me the fuck out. But I try not to think too much of it. I don't say anything, and it get the last straw to where I put my damn foot down, and I didn't even give a damn if I was even at work. I did not care because this shit was going way too far. Was when she came out of nowhere and she was going way too forward with this. She ends up going, and I quote, this is exactly her words: "Why don't you ever look at me? And why don't you ever want me looking at you?" I'm like, this woman cannot be freaking serious. So at that moment, because I was getting tired of this, because I don't date at my damn job, I'm like, and I said it, I wanted everybody to hear this. I said, "Get the fuck away from me." And she tried to continue to talk. I said, "Nope. Kindly get the hell away from me. I'm done talking. I'm not finna put my hands on nobody. I'm not finna argue with nobody. Just get away from me." So after that, I decided to have a chat with with my cousin. She told me I needed to basically go have a chat with the supervisor. And I told him, "Man, can you keep an eye out on her? Because, well, she was getting way too out of hand, dude. She really was." It got to another point to where she would interrupt the conversation I was having with somebody, and it was, both me and him had a misunderstanding. I was trying to explain it to him, right? And she just kept trying to butt in, playing the role of the white knight. And I'm like, this dude didn't even ask you for that, and I'm actually trying to apologize to him for the misunderstanding, but she wasn't trying to listen to it. But get this, I wasn't being rude when I was talking like this. I'm like, something. Basically, I just called her out for her being rude, and I did it calmly, and that was it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even talking to you. I'm not even actually in a conversation with you right now. And I'm trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation with this fellow employee here, just to clear up this misunderstanding, right? But she jumps right on in, as if, without even saying excuse me or anything. So I called her out on that. She throws a temper tantrum, marches all the way up to the freaking office. Not to the supervisor's office, no, to the actual office, to where the dude who's the manager for the drivers. And I'm like, that dude is just the freaking supervisor, or the boss of our supervisor. You're not supposed to go to him because he's super busy with basically with both the invoice and with the shipments and stuff like that, right? So we always go to the supervisor, and his office is in the opposite direction, right? Opposite direction. Dude, let me tell you something. Before I even went into that area where I was working at, I was warned about the people there. And a lot of people told me that those guys there that have been there for years, they play favorites, and some of them are very toxic and very narcissistic. And I found that out the hard way. So, realizing that her bullshit, she eventually backed off, and that didn't work. And then they tried a different approach. They tried another approach, right? And I'm like, are you fucking serious? For the last damn time, I don't date at my effing job. I don't do it. I didn't actually say that, but that was at the level I was at, man. Because I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this shit, man. I didn't sign up for any of it. I didn't come here to basically find a damn a relationship partner. I came here to earn a living. That's it. That is it. When I signed that application and turned in my resume, that's what I signed for. Not for no damn bachelor shit. No. None of that. But they kept trying to drag it to that, you know? They kept trying to do that. So, they twist the situation up to where this dude, you know, one of the other coworkers starts basically fraternizing with her, and eventually those two start seeing each other, right? It's starting to get like way too obvious, and it was fucking with the whole work dynamic. Because look, I don't give a fuck if those two want to bang each other or date each other. I could care less. But when it comes to the point with the type of work we were doing, and you got people just not doing their work at all, and it's been over an hour and a half, and they're still getting paid, and there's a camera watching them clear as day, but not the supervisor nor the security guard or anybody saying shit about it. Oh, you best believe I'm gonna have a few words to discuss about that, because first off, I'm not doing anybody else's job. Just forget that. Dude. And what made it matters worse is that I would, a lot of the crap that happened previously. I want to make this clear. I don't care if those two wanted to date. That's their business. But, you still have, despite the fact that you two are dating, you still have an obligation and a job to do. That's how I felt about it. Because, like, there were people in there way older than me, like in their 50s and 60s, and they're sitting there busting their ass. I'm young, but they're sitting there busting their asses off. And I know that this has got to be, this is definitely not good for them. That, it's okay to get exercise, but, like, you can't overexert someone at that age like that, man. That's not cool at all. So I voiced my, I made sure my voice was heard about that, and I did, give the supervisor a piece of my mind. I wasn't being disrespectful. I was just, being honest about it, because, I thought that was really messed up. And they couldn't say anything, they couldn't tell me I was wrong, because I was right about it. I really was. So here's the other thing, how I knew that this whole crap was intentional. They kept doing stuff like this, and they made certain it was being done in front of me. Couldn't make heads or tails out of why, but I could care less. But the big tip-off that I know this shit was intentional was when I first got my Wi-Fi installed in my apartment unit. I'm sitting there in anticipation, ready to just leave the damn area, because I had to go meet this guy while he was sitting there waiting at the apartment complex, waiting for the stuff to be installed. I had to actually catch an Uber just to get there in time. The bus wasn't going to show up in time at all, because that would have took like an hour or so. Even worse, traffic was bad too, so I had to also deal with that. So I was in a rush to get everything done as much as I could at this point, right? So as I'm in a rush to just get my stuff put up and get the hell out of Dodge, the same dude who she's seeing ends up going like, "Hey man, you mad? You mad? You mad?" And I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this. I just don't. And I don't understand. I don't understand why he doesn't get it. If I wanted that woman, if I did, why the hell would I reject her? Why? Why would I do that? If I wanted that woman, why the hell would I reject her? And the truth is, I wouldn't have done it if I wanted her. And the truth is, I didn't, because I knew for a fact that woman was shady. I knew she was shady. I knew something wasn't right, and I called it. Boom. What happens in a month and a half? Her husband shows up, or not her husband, but the guy she was living with shows up at the workplace. Tell me that's not a bad fucking recipe right there. And guess what? In a scenario like that, technically someone's got to go. They will either move you or you fired. That's for any job, because like they can't have situations like that happening, because they first off, you're not even supposed to be dating employee. That's actually there's actually a code about that. Like, you're not supposed to be actually dating other fellow employees, because that's That's fucking up the dynamic there. That's like invitation for problems 101 right there, big time. That's for everybody, man. So that happens, and eventually, she just doesn't show up anymore. And eventually, after that, turns out those two, apparently became a permanent thing, and hadn't seen them since. And they just moved on to something else, I guess. The thing that bothers me though is that guy again, like the older guys who were there, they were very narcissistic. Some of them were very narcissistic, not all of them, but some of them really were, dude. And the thing about it, like, they were super nosy, super nosy. Like, every bit of personal information, like, of a person, they would just blurt it the fuck out. But you can't trust them either, because they're fake as hell. They really are. And I was worried about it, and I saw it for what it was. Now, there was someone who was working there when I first started, and he also warned me about them. Even some of them, being very discriminatory towards certain types of people. I'm not gonna say no names, but this is just how they were. They would act friendly in front of you, but basically they would be talking trash behind your back. And sometimes they'll talk trash in front of you too, without even a care of the world. They would not care. And that's just what type of people they were. But you know something? I don't lower myself to that, because I don't do that. No. What am I supposed to do? Get mad and actually just do whatever I can to basically, get back at them? What the hell does that solve? No. I'm not finna waste my time of someone like that, because you want to know why? So, for a person to go off and just fuck with people like that, has to be very miserable. Seriously. And they are so miserable that they want to make other people miserable so that they don't have to feel so bad anymore. That's the reality of that. I see it for what it is, and I don't waste my time with it. I just don't. So, what happens after that? Now, we got at least 2 other females who show up into the mix that works at that job. Now, the first one, there's no problem with her. The second one, well, she, let's just say she had some issues, dude. And, I think I don't know, I can't recall what the hell she was doing, but eventually she, the first one ended up having started dating a different dude who was working there, and that got way out of hand. She's married, dude. However, despite the fact that she's married, I'm not, I'm not calling anybody out by name. I'm just stating what happened. Now, she gets on the back of the truck with this guy. This happened several times where they would just pull back there. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. I don't know. There were even instances to where they've actually showing up at the job site around the same time. I think maybe they must. Now, this is a married woman now, so she may have had a fling with him, but it started getting like way too out of hand, and she was trying to back away from this, and he didn't like that, right? So eventually, it got so bad that the police was called, and that happened. Now, it's an important reason why I'm mentioning this, even though this part doesn't have too much to do with me at all, but it's very important. So eventually, the bid that was coming up for another job, it was what I was looking for, finally came up. I signed for it and I got it, right? Lucky me. However, that same dude who I was telling you, who that lady was seeing, he's also signed a bid to go to the same place. And since he made his way over there, not only him, but one other dude started showing up towards the other side of the warehouse. And that's when the gaslighting started. They did this shit in front of me too. In front of the camera. Basically on his jack, started driving alongside this other guy while he was on his jack, trying to basically talking to him, whispering, right? And then pointing at me. This dude pointed at me. And then takes his fingers and starts spinning it around pointing at his head, trying to say I'm basically cuckoo crazy. And I'm like, this dude is not serious. I'm like, right here. Now, do I act out about this? No. No, I don't. No, I don't let it bother me because first off, that's just his opinion. What the fuck do I have to prove to a dude anyway? And the thing is, no. No, I have nothing to prove to an idiot. No, not to somebody who don't actually talk about anything. Also understand this for a fact, everybody. When you piss off a narcissist, like, they're gonna do whatever they can to try to get even with you. That's just a given. It's best that, and you need to understand, it's pointless to try to fight with these people because that's what feeds them. They fuck with people because that's what they want. They want you to fight them. They want you to argue with them. They want you to do this stuff. That's the whole point and why they act the way that they do. It's just to fuck with you. It's just to get that attention. And they go way beyond the definition of an attention whore. They really do. In fact, they take it to a whole nother level. So it gets to the point to where that other guy, not the dude who basically showed up, started calling me crazy, but the other guy shows up. The dude who was dating that last female, and the cops got involved. She ended up quitting after that. I don't know why the hell they would even, after that situation had happened, but basically it was all just gaslighting. All of it was, every single bit of it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys just how bad this shit got after around a month and a half. Now, the narrative started to where they were just on the prowl to try to figure out what would piss me off, what would make me mad, right? I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on because all I do know is that, like, with every single room I would enter, whenever I was just doing my job, like, I would constantly be stared at, right? I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. This is before I even knew anything about the gang stalking. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Like, why the hell are these people staring at me and shit, right? I couldn't figure it out. It just didn't make no sense. As soon as I actually complained about it at the supervisor, right? Everybody's just paying attention to it. And then all of a sudden I hear a guy off to the side saying, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm sure we're going to keep doing that. And I'm like, these motherfuckers was looking for something that would bother me. This is why they were so observant. But the question is why? 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 So here comes the next female. And another honeypot attempt. There are actually two of them, though. One of them who I just so happened to be working with, not necessarily in the same area, but just just so happened to be working around the same hours and stuff. Now, she was being very progressive with this bullshit. But the other one was like a supervisor. Dude, she was, she would try the same stalkers attempts, but not as progressive and not as active as the last one did. So there would be time to time where she would try to basically mention certain things. I knew it was bullshit. I knew it was bullshit. And I never fell for it. Anybody who would work for a criminal, I don't give a fuck what the hell excuse any of these people got. The minute you start working for an organization like this dude and you start to find out what this is and then you continue to still work for them, there's nothing to be said at that point. Nothing. And there's not a damn thing you would ever be able to tell me to convince me otherwise. Nothing, because it's just a simple fact that you basically are working for wicked individuals, or should I say a wicked company. And you're doing it for money at the expense of someone else's suffering. And that's not cool at all. There's nothing funny about that. Nothing. And something, growing up, I could never figure this out. I could never figure it out. I would see people who were actually be working certain jobs, but they had these really nice looking fucking cars. I couldn't figure out how the hell they would do it, especially when I was working. So I'm like, hold on. There's a lot of stuff charging a lot of money here. So then, that's when I started to become a MGTOW, started to figure out, oh, okay, there's some females out there collecting child support. This is why they got nice cars. They work and they earn money from the government. Makes sense, right? Not all women are like that, but just proving a point. And then there were some dudes that had the same situation that was kind of odd, right? I couldn't figure out, like, what the hell were they getting the money to buy these luxurious cars? And let's be honest here, the way the economy is and the way peer pressure is, dude, from what I've noticed, people tend to be very reckless with their money. So I'm like, the only way I could actually see this happen is if these guys are getting extra funds from somewhere. I could never figure it out until I became a victim of this program myself. And I connected the dots. They were doing shit on the side, and that's how it happened. Some of them are probably involved in in drug trafficking, possibly. Could be. But I knew for a fact that this gang stalking program had something to do with this. It did. This is why you see just regular individuals in certain jobs. It's because they do have two jobs, but it's just the other one is just so fucked up. It's not worth it. They don't mention it because they're not allowed to talk about it. Then the thing, this has been going on for years. So that woman that I just so happened to be working for, she pulled some stunts that was way too obvious. And this was the honeypot attempts that they did. She walked in front of me at one point, bent herself over to tie her shoe. She deliberately did this right in front of me, people. I didn't walk over to her. She walked over to me and did this. Because I knew what this was, I decided to step to the side, and then turn the other way. Nothing wrong with the sight at all. It's just that I'm at work and I know that the type of picture they're trying to paint. Oh, he's harassing her and shit like that. No, dude. No. So when that shit started to happen and it kept constantly being perpetuated, this is where the real shit started. And the whole scripted bullshit that they started playing. Oh no, he's gay. Every fucking time it was the same shit. Because I'm not falling for the other honeypot attempts. All of this other shit's coming out. So now it's making sense what they're trying to do. They paid these people off to do this shit. So if I was to ever to just go out of my way to defend myself, right? So I don't fall for this shit. Oh, I'm supposed to be into the same sex just because I chose to defend? No, absolutely not. No, I love women. Truthfully, I do, and I'll always be attracted to women, dude. But this stuff is just, dude, it's too damn obvious. It's too damn obvious. You try, you come up with one solution to defend yourself, right? They'll gaslight the hell out of that. And what are you supposed to do? Trying to find a woman? Oh, shit. I'm gonna tell you what happened with that. I didn't try to find a relationship partner because of the bullshit that was going on. Because I wasn't even too aware of what's going on myself at the time, right? And I didn't even know how far this was going. I do know I didn't wish to put this on someone else through this crap because it was unbearable. It really was, dude. Every damn day was stressful as hell. It's just gaslighting, verbal harassment. But you know something? I started to remember a lot of the bullshit I had to put up with in the past, and I had to deal with similar shit like this when I was in high school. For some strange reason, people would just come up with the most stupidest reasons to try to fuck with me. I would even go out of my way to just sleep. Not fuck with nobody, not even in the mood for a damn conversation, just sleep because that damn class was so boring and we weren't doing a damn thing. There was nothing to be done. They just had a group of kids just show up because they didn't have anything else to fill the time schedule with because all the other classes were filled for that time. And either that or gym class, again, like the gym coach wasn't serious. The only thing he was serious with was the team. And it was always like that just about at every school I went to, right? And it's just like these Like they just came up with stupid excuses to try to have something to do with it. I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm not your source of entertainment to pass the time. No. Leave me the hell alone. I don't have to impress you. I don't owe you any answers to any of your stupid ass questions. I don't. It's just that simple. If I don't want to date anybody, that's my choice. I'm not obligated to. Nobody is. But they treat you like you are obligated. No. And you know something? That's the other thing I realized about society. When you start to really see through their bullshit, right? And you don't fall for it, it's like they got this unspoken attitude about it, saying, no, how dare you don't take my relationship advice? How dare you don't date this queen that's basically offering you the time of day? How dare you reject her? How dare, this is the queen. This woman is pure beauty incarnate right now. It's pure beauty incarnate. And I'm like, people, they sell this shit to people, man. They try their damn hardest to sell people a fake ass dream. Look, there are people out there who are able to make marriage work, but that's just not a solution for everybody, because not everybody can make that work. Some people don't like being tied down. And I will never fucking understand why certain people get married and they just cheat on their damn spouse. Whether you're a female or a dude, it doesn't matter. I don't get, like, if you want to just whore around, why the hell get married? Why? Why do that? And I'm going to tell you why. In certain situations, there are people greedy enough because they just want money. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, just money. They treat it as a business. They treat other people's feelings like a fucking business tactic. And this is where we're getting to situations to where, you know what? When you see certain scenarios like this from the out, from like looking at it from the outside, it really causes you to question the reality of, what do people value anymore? You see all these people sell themselves out for money, doing stupid shit. I'm gonna tell you half the crap I've seen just from these gang stalkers alone. There was a dude who showed up in the middle of the hallway again, like these halls, this particular hall that connected with the main hall that went to two different sections of the warehouse, right? This guy walks out from there as I'm passing by. This dude is sagging so damn bad. You would have to be, you would wish that you were blind to not see this shit. This dude was so desperate for money, they told him to walk out as I was passing by, having his damn pants at his fucking ankles, with nothing but his drawers showing and wherever the hell type of jacket he was wearing on top. That's it. He walked in front of the cameras like that. And this is not the only time something like crazy like that has happened. There are people, I kid you not, because I did show the location and the name of this place before. It was what was that? I think it was Associated Grocers. That's exactly what it is. If you look at the reviews for this place, you will see several complaints about the staff that was working there. I mean, so many that it makes no fucking sense. Why is this allowed to continue? And that's what I started to realize. Half these people who were working in there is nothing more than a damn cross, like a freaking hive mind of nothing but gang stalkers, people who are fully involved with this corrupted system. That's when I started to come to the realization of that. Some of them were like that, and some of them were not aware of that. That's how this was. Dude, it didn't matter where the fuck I went, whether I was in the lunchroom, whether I was in any other section of the warehouse. I constantly had to hear this bullshit of them talking about some of the most disgusting conversations you could think of. And dude, this is becoming a serious problem. It is. Now, just to make this clear, I absolutely do not care if someone is like that, if someone chooses that for themselves, okay? Just to be like that, to interested in the same sex, I don't give a fuck about that. But I do have a problem with people who try to go way out of their way to try to advertise themselves to people who are not into that. That's just not cool. It isn't. People don't find that crap funny at all. And most people just want to just live in peace. I mean, I'm interested in women, but I never asked some idiot guy to just come out of his way to try to, show his ass off to me. I didn't ask for that. Dude, the footage doesn't lie. I'm literally just walking into a fucking supermarket and that stuff happens. I'm literally just turning the corner of an aisle and that just so happens to happen. I'm literally standing in the damn Greyhound station and a guy walking up to the stands where my fucking point of view is at, right? Where my point of view is at, just so happens to do that. And he's not picking up anything and he's not ducking up anything. Get real. This is, if anybody's trying to say, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Dude, so anybody who has that comment to say, anything like that, we ain't got shit to discuss, period. Because you are proving that you're 100% complicit with stuff like this. And you're probably just as fucked up as the rest. There are people having to deal with this kind of garbage on the daily. All right? And don't get me wrong. There are respectable people out there. And I know this because one of my ex's brothers was like that. But he didn't do the shit that they were doing. And she actually told me. She said her brother found me attractive. But he was, he didn't do anything weird because he was trying to be respectful because he knew I was dating his sister and he knew I wasn't like that. I have great respect for people like that because they're, despite the fact that their sexual orientation, right? They have the common decency to not impose their interest onto anybody else who's the complete opposite of that. I have great respect for that. Now, whether any of that of what they do is right or wrong, that's up to God. I'm not God, so I can't make that decision for anybody. That is up to God to choose whether that's right or wrong. And honestly, I would say look to the Bible for that, but dude, they've been changing so much stuff in there. They really have. They really definitely have. In the end, do your best to help individual, different people out there. Do your best not to be absorbed by this corruptive agency, this corrupted organization. Do your damn best not to do that. People come up to you asking you to do something awkwardly, right? In an area or that seems to be like in front of somebody or around somebody or say something around somebody. Question the hell out of that. Please do. People, please start questioning stuff like that because those are the people most likely hiring these, hiring so many people to do this kind of stuff to people, And what you don't understand is the significance of this technology. They want you to put stress out onto somebody, right? They want you to put stress onto somebody simply because it's to cause this technology to be more sufficient. The same technology that is programming people. And you're going to see a prime example of this in the video that will be tied to this one. A prime example. And it's going to be shown. It's going to show you exactly why people should not be participating in crap like this when it comes to gaslighting people. It's going to show you. So don't, when it comes to a lot of the social media, man, they're going to censor a lot of stuff. They're going to really not want people talking about certain points because they try to drown stuff out. For instance, does anybody remember the name of that documentary that actually, and I'm not talking about Out of Shadows, I'm talking about the other one, the one that blew all of this stuff out of the woodwork, that they had actually went out of their way to basically imprison the producer of that documentary. And I'm talking about the one that basically exposed the corruption with the elections, how they rig them, and how the corruption with the court systems, how they're able to basically pinpoint many different people who would actually give a person a guilty fucking verdict. in court every time, no joke, and they would actually already know what it is because these people were like handpicked to purposely be in there. That's the documentary I want to find because I need to watch that again. If any fellow subscribers, if you know the name of that documentary, please leave the name of it in the comments, and I will greatly appreciate it. Man, dude, I could go on and about this, but other than that particular situation, right, that happened, there was another thing that I was doing, and I probably should have realized that, I was just asking for trouble when I started to make blog videos in the neighborhood I was living in. And it caught the attention of the neighbors. But get this, they never, ever confronted me or tried to express their opinions about anything. No. What do they always do? They talk to somebody other than me about the problem. They talk to somebody other than me about the problem. They never talk to me about it. They never voice their opinions about it, but they seem to have quite a huge issue with it. So I'm like, and they get super pissed. So I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you can't be adult enough about it to have a decent discussion, and you just gotta pout, bitch, and moan about it, I'm not in first grade, I'm not in second grade, and I'm not a freaking toddler, and I'm not a freaking child. I'm an adult. I'm a man. Okay? Have a heart-to-heart conversation about stuff. You can't understand somebody, get off your ass to try to understand that person. Because that's another problem we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who don't even bother to try to get to understand anybody, and that's happening way too much. Way too much. I'm seeing way too much of that going on. To where you have certain people in society who don't even bother to try to get to know you. And they just except they try to act as if they already know you when they haven't even asked you anything. They haven't even asked you nothing. Not a single thing. And all of a sudden they're already trying to brand you as something. They're already trying to label you as something. Yet they didn't even ask anything about you. Absolutely nothing. I've encountered that too much, man. Way too much. But there's something I'll also tell you. No matter what these perpetrators do, don't ever let that chain you down. Some of these things can, give you great pain. Some of them can bring you great grief. Some of them can even put you in bring you great sadness. And also great rage. You must not fall for these methods, because I'm telling you, this technology is very, very deceptive. You got to be careful out there. You really do. I would love to go out of my way to find myself a decent woman, settle down, But I just don't trust this world. I don't trust any of the individuals running this economy. I don't trust nobody who they put on the television. I don't trust the media. I don't trust anybody who's in the seat of the president. I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't trust either one of them. I don't trust the politicians. I don't trust the police, the army, the navy, the National Guard. I don't give a fuck who they are. I trust none of it. I don't even trust the communities within society, because I've seen how it is. People are just absolutely complicit with this bullshit, and they don't have the freaking goal to get off their ass and say, F it, I'm not taking it anymore. People are just consumed by fear. And when you're first induced into this, before you know anything about TIs, you really do end up feeling alone out there. I know how that feels. You feel like you've just been singled out by an entire, population. You don't even know what the hell's going on. You can't make heads or tails of anything. And to make matters worse, they try their damn hardest to keep every single TI separated. They don't ever want us to gather up. They don't ever want us to basically support one another. They don't want that shit happening. They don't. And I know this for a fact because when I tried getting in contact with Vulcan, Um, Back when I was in Baton Rouge, I was trying to get in permanent contact with them. They psyoped the hell out of that. So much so they did a fake missing persons report, had my aunt show up just because of that. Okay? Just because of that. She went out of her way to show with not just her, but also my brother and her boyfriend in the car. These damn gang stalkers are on the prowl on the area, giving themselves away. And she's talking to them saying, I got this, I got this. And I'm being tipped off that the damn police was in my place because of this bullshit missing persons report. And I'm like, obviously they put some extra cameras in there. And I used the tester, and I was right. They did put extra cameras in there. They had the shit on the other side. Came up with a bogus excuse to put illegal surveillance equipment in there. Dude, there's so much stuff that's happened that it just caused me to be completely fed up with the system. It is. And I don't even know why in the hell people. You know something? I believe I see how people started to become more dependent on the system just because it made stuff easier. That's they reeled people in with that, that make shit easier aspect of stuff. So people started to get lazier, wanted to go the easy route instead of the hard route, right? And they just started staying with that for too long. Too many people got jumped on the bandwagon with that, stayed on there for too long, and it got to a point to where like we forgot our roots of traditionalism of what we used to do. When things used to be you know actually, we would basically have a more hands approach on things where we had certain talents and certain perspectives of what we were learning as a daily routine, and just a part of survival. People used to always have their own personal wells. Don't even see that anymore. People also used to do a whole lot more manual labor than now. You rarely see any stuff like that anymore. Now they fixed it to where they want the robots to do it. It's getting worse, man. It's getting a whole lot worse. Mark my words. If this stuff continues the way it is, just about every single manual labor job is going to be taken and overrun by bots, not humans. And it's already looking that way too, especially with Amazon. You go up in Walmart right now, you see some of these machines that were used to buffer the floors, but except they're running on them. They're running themselves. No human being driving the machine. The machine's driving itself, operating on its own through GPS and AI technology. Now they're doing it with Amazon, to where they got these bots basically delivering packages. Oh, guess what? Since the riots that they paid to happen, that these assholes paid off to have happen, right? Since people are, who are driving these machines and these cars around delivering packages are getting hurt, no, we need to start putting bots on these things. Oh, but people are starting to raid and attack the bots and steal the packages. Oh, why not just put DEW weapon systems integrated, not actual firearms, but directed energy weapons strapped to these robots to where they basically can incapacitate somebody. It won't hurt them. No, it won't be any type of negative side effects at all. No, nothing bad will happen at all. None of that bad will happen. Let's go ahead and even go ahead and just like spread out um this whole this whole rumor of us installing this technology, this 5G technology, out before it's even passed, and we'll use that little thing as an excuse, even though we actually are uh, installing this shit in certain places, but we'll never have it to where they'll ever see it. But now let's go ahead and just allow this to go public, right? Let's go ahead and allow this to go public, so when this whole thing gets passed and we actually have our guys out there installing this stuff, they'll think some of these towers are all 5G, but in reality, they're burning down lower grade towers, which are like either 2G, 3G, or 4G. So we can just replace all of that tech and collect the insurance money from the vandalism for it, and just install it with new tech with 5G. So now they just up shit's creeks and allowed us to just all randomly put 5G in the area. And I hope I just gave clarity to that to people. And yes, I am being funny about this, but it's true. That's exactly what happened. That's precisely what happened. They wanted people to freak out about that because they knew people were going to break down those towers. They wanted them to break down those towers because those towers were not 5G. Those were lower G towers. And as a result, they only go up from that. But because of this being done from somebody else and not themselves, they get insurance money, and also they get to swap out the old tech for the new tech. So, I hope just with that simple explanation, I hope people come to the understanding that we must be careful with the information we receive from the internet, as well as the information that we receive from any of the especially just about every television broadcast station or broadcast station. I think I pronounced that wrong. I hope this little bit that I'm doing is actually doing, giving some humor to people out there. Hopefully. Okay. I did get a little bit way off a topic, but I've already gave out a good enough explanation of scripted behavior and a lot of reverse psychology that they use. Now they'll act out on something and they'll perpetuate the crap out of it, continuously. They continue to do that in order to try to paint a picture of a different narrative. They do this to try to create an alignment for something else that they're bringing into the mix later on. Such as they used women as a term to gaslight me, right? Because if I would have went with it, they would have just had a woman give off a false statement, a bullshit lie. And they have tried that before, too. So they would do that, and it's, if that didn't work, then they would do it only so many times to where then they'll change the whole thing around, just basically saying, oh, well, since he's not going for the females, he must be, that way. Bullshit. And also another prime example, I went to the movies, and I believe I may have mentioned this before, but I went to the movies when barely anybody was there, just to keep to myself, not to basically be bothered. They sent the female in there, and out of all the seats she could have sat down on, she purposely sat down in the one next to me. I didn't even fucking know this woman, and she's just sitting there flexing her. I'm not even joking about this. She started purposely flexing her ass in the damn chair, and normally, I wouldn't think too much of this, but dude, it became super obvious. It just became way too damn obvious. It really did. Like, these perpetrators will do anything to try to piss you off. And you need to understand, we are dealing with energy vampires who are looking to suck off basically the energy that you produce, because we are not physical beings. We are, beings of energy. Hence the word energy vampires. They basically seek to pretty much just siphon our all of our energy out. They want it could be the positive energy that they're siphoning off, but like for some reason they want us to be like fully in a negative. And I don't want this advice, what I'm saying, to discourage anybody. I want you all to be happy. I truly do. I want you all to be able to live in peace, being able to just go to sleep comfortably with no problems at all. None of this bullshit that's going on. I really want this stuff to end, but we got to face the facts. We are definitely in the end times. But guess what? We have to remain strong through it all. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. There are going to be very, very different times. If we lose anybody, you need to think about it from this perspective. They may be gone from this realm, but their bodies may have been destroyed, or just put into the situation where it's no longer be able to sustain its life energy, basically, but their spirit still lives on, and they're going to a much better place than this. We need to look at it from that perspective. But don't ever, and I damn well mean it, I don't care how hard the shit gets, don't you ever commit suicide, ever. Because once you do, if you ever commit something like that, that's a very grave sin there. Stuff like that. Renouncing your faith and start worshiping the devil and stuff like that, that's also bad. God gave some commandments out there. Thou shalt not worship a false idol. Thou shalt not steal. thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not commit adultery. If I'm not mistaken, there's also a few more out there too. Unless I don't think I announced every single one of them. I could be wrong or I could be right. Who knows? But that's just a prime example. As far as adultery, I haven't necessarily slept with with somebody else's woman, as far as I know. So I never done that, and I've never cheated on any woman that I've dated. There was one time of a misunderstanding, and I kept, it did to me. The shit didn't make any sense. I'm dating a woman, and she's uncomfortable with me having a female friend. It's just a friend. It's just a friend. It's an online friend from the PSN network. It's not like someone I actually would physically go out and see. Not to mention we don't even live in the same damn neighborhood. We don't. Like, she lives way across the globe, dude. So, and it's to that point to where, like, she's allowed to have guy friends, but I'm not allowed to have any female friends. Are you serious? Like, I don't mind having friends in general, but like, some dudes will have like some females as friends, not a whole lot, but maybe like one or maybe two, But when you're hanging out with not just them, you're hanging out with like a whole group of people, basically, and that's how it was. We would have like a group session to where like it would be several people in the group, from time to time. But she kept pissed off about that, and they got the wrong idea, saying, "Oh, no, 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 you've been, you banging this woman and all that stuff." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, no. And then it gets to a situation to where you find out that technically there's a huge possibility that they're cheating, but and fellas who don't know about this little warning bit, I'm telling you, if you got a woman who's constantly trying to accuse you of cheating and you know damn well you didn't, that's a red flag. And the reason why that's a red flag is because that's showing post-traumatic guilt of what she may have done. Because she keeps bringing up that kind of subject because she feels guilty about what she's done. But she doesn't have the confidence to come out and tell you what she did. Some women feel like they don't even deserve a guy when they do something like this, and they're like that. And it gets the best of them that they're so desperate to just catch you cheating, to where they can basically go off of like, oh well, like, he, now we're even, so since he cheated on me, basically, now I get to be mad. That, you see, that's how some of these females will act out. Like, that's how some of them will. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Again, the other, the example video when it comes to the nanobots inside of a person, and the whole situation was going. Again, that video is just for educational purposes. It's gonna feature the Venture Brothers, one of their episodes, and when this was going on. Again, you got people working in an entirely opposite room somewhere else in the building, tampering around with a computer, controlling these nanobots that basically get into this person who they are not aware. They're not aware that it's inside of a person, but it is. So they're using this stuff as a diagram, and it's kind of odd because a female TI mentioned seeing something similar. Like, it was an image on this guy's phone, and it was like a pixeled image of a person, and he would just touch random parts of that pentagram person, and it would cause different effects to this woman's body. When I was in Baton Rouge, as I was transporting that lumber, they kept psyoping me with these guys with their trucks, constantly asking me, did I need help? But I knew it was bullshit. I knew it was. So that obviously wasn't gonna work, and that obviously didn't happen. But I didn't even bother trying to talk to him. Like, I knew it was a psyop. I knew it was. So I never even bothered even trying to have that conversation with him. Ever since then, they continued on with that psyop with people with trucks, constantly. And that's what tipped me off of, okay, I know what this is leading into. By the time I'm like ready to actually get a ride, that was them signaling, basically gaslighting me, letting me know that they're not gonna let that happen. They're not gonna let me get someone with the truck in order to transport that stuff. As a prime example, that's when they had my cousin psyop me with that same situation. I still have the whole footage of everything that happened those few days, every single bit. I'm ending this video here because it is getting late. It's like around 8:50, almost 9. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening, but you know, feels like every single ounce of freedom is just being trampled on. Coming up with excuses just to lock people in their homes. Not being able to go anywhere, not being able to do anything. Stuff is just not what it used to be anymore. And I believe I long since noticed this from when I was way younger. I started realizing stuff just wasn't the same. These holidays are nowhere near as active as they used to be. I don't celebrate any of these holidays anymore though. However, looking back, I remember when it came to Halloween, that was one of the most active holidays ever. You could not even drive down a single street without seeing decorations. And I mean, like, not just anywhere, but like on every single house. You used to have the neighborhoods flooded with people going from door to door for candy. You used to have certain open houses of Halloween, haunted houses in the neighborhood. You used to have all kinds of stuff like that. I don't celebrate Christmas anymore because, well, it's a pagan holiday. But as an example of what it used to be like, you used to see every damn house lit up with lights. Now you don't see it as much. You don't see a whole bunch of houses. Just about every single house is in a neighborhood all lined up with lights. You don't see that no more. Music, not as long as it used to be. You used to have some songs that were like around 10 minutes long. Now they go as low as either 5 or 4 minutes long. That's it. And they do sell extended versions of this, but people edit these things and tweak them out a bit so that they can be extended. Movies aren't even as long as they used to be. And they don't put as much in-depth emotion in these movies anymore like they used to. If you've seen how long Casablanca is, because that is a long-ass movie. Have you seen how long of a movie Alice Through the Looking Glass is? Because that's like 2 hours. They don't make movies that long anymore. They really don't. Anyway, I think I've actually dealt enough of this, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here.